Hello, we're back with MoteMancer. as I claimed I would do last episode, in between episodes, I just let this little water science factory run with all the science it could do from the inputs I've given it here, which took, I don't know, a little while. I was doing other stuff. And so we picked up a big chunk of water research, all this stuff here. We have brinaries, mana pools, bastions. Oracle is a spell that I think actually doesn't work yet. Is that true? That's what I've heard. You can't even select it. It doesn't exist. But I spent 500 research on it. We got Wave Dash. That's kind of nice. I mean, I remember it being very annoying. Like, yeah, it's great to go fast, but it's so hard to walk exactly along a streamway unless that streamway is nice and straight. And I don't ever design things so cleanly. I did notice one or two little issues with the factory while this was all happening, which I have since cleaned up. For one thing, both of these little guys, the left half wasn't actually working because it wasn't plugged in. It was missing this piece of streamway. I think because like there was a rock there in one of the places. I'm not sure if it made it into the blueprint. It looks like it did. Yeah. So the blueprint is actually missing a spot because there was a rock when I put it down here. Or so I don't know. Anyway. So I fixed that, and that helped because the science actually started to back up because this just was not producing anywhere near the 5 water per second that I thought it should be doing. So once I got these both going at full tilt, it started going at a more reasonable pace. So we have more new science to do. How's all this stuff? I didn't even build this. Right. This is just like I was gonna put more ether in, but I haven't yet. And it doesn't seem yet like ether is the bottleneck, so no rush on that. So now I can finally see what the recipes are for all these things that were locked away. In particular, title collectors are a thing I'd like a lot of, and which I need for these 2 researches, and I think some over here, maybe. Yeah, this one. So this stuff all requires keystones, which I don't have, but title collectors are indeed as simple as we predicted in a previous episode. They are just simple collectors, which I already automated here as a sort of preparatory step, combined with sand. Also, I got another entropy research just cleaning stuff up, but I didn't want to invest it because I was like, do it on camera. So we're heading up to Seismic Flare, not because I need Seismic Flare, but because it's the gateway to all the planar reliquaries that I really do want. So, I didn't do any major, I didn't do any changes, actually, to this part of the factory, because that was kind of what we were working on, and I feel like that's the footage. If I'm going to do that off camera, like, what are you even watching for? But there were a couple minor cleanup things up there, like I said. So here, I mean, honestly, I don't even have to do that, I guess. I can probably, I assume these are made in the fancy ones, wave rights or something. Yeah. Do I have a wave right? Anything that looks kind of like this over here? I made one accidentally a while ago, but I think I threw it away. Yeah, I don't see one. Okay. So we want, nope, not you. You? Yes. We want this, and we also need sand. And what is the recipe like? What is it? It needs a ton of sand and a little bit of collectors. So 2 Tinker's tables here was kind of overdoing it, but I didn't know what the recipe was going to be. I also, I don't know. I'm sort of reflecting on, I kind of wanted this, I'll have a nice long structure where I just do one thing at a time, but I can't ever help myself. I'm like, oh, there's space right here. I'll just do it here. And then it turns into a glorious spaghetti mess, which is fine. That's the fun. The question is, how do I get sand over here, though? I think I just won't. I'm going to actually make use of some of this space and run collectors out this way. Because I have sand here. Like that? Yes. So now I can fit that wave right in wherever it is here. I guess just throw another bloom in there. It's an easy solution. So that's capable of putting in 3 sand per second, which I think is more than I'm making. So that should be fine. I can't help but notice that it's in the way of the research, though, isn't it? So maybe I should not do this. Let's make a little bit more space. Now it's still in the way of the research, but less, you know? And this will mean we don't have to use simple collectors for water patches anymore, which is nice, of course. It would be nice to have a reaching gripper to be able to get this back into the science area. But I don't have any. So, I mean, it's not that hard to work around, of course. We can just do this. This. I actually can't put it here without interfering with, yeah, okay. Blech. What am I doing? This? Yeah, I guess. So this should do some research. I don't know what exactly. Oh, this is like tributary, right? Yeah. To have deltas act like mergers. Cool. Now, this is going to take a lot of science, a lot of, repetitions. We're going to need 800 of these before we research all this stuff. But none of this is really urgent. I can just leave it alone and go work on automated production of brinaries or downpour bastions. Because, like I said, I do want to harvest entropy. I want more salt. Like, I always want, you want all these things, right? I could even work on mana pools, but I don't think that's urgent right now with Daycaller just, like, kind of taking care of things. Whirlpool, yeah, whatever. It makes mana pools kind of immune to entropy for some reason. I don't know why that's a thing, but fine. And Inundate eventually starts clearing downpour bastions. So, I guess... Well, let's look at the recipes. Which one is going to be easier? Maybe that's a thing to consider. Brinaries, so much sand. Oh my god. Okay, that's a lot. You don't need very many brinaries, except to do the research that takes brinaries as input, if there is any. And I don't think there is. Didn't we look at this earlier? Yeah, there isn't any. So you don't need large-scale brinary production, like... I forget... Yeah, so brinaries make salt twice as efficiently as grindstones. So you need half as many grindstones as you do... brinaries as you do grindstones. But I guess, like... Well, actually a quarter, because they can't do the ether side, only the salt side. But, like, that's still a lot. But it doesn't go into science. You don't need, like, 500 of them, right? You just need a mall-sized, oh, let me pick up another 20 brinaries or whatever, right? So, if we look at the recipe for brinaries, it was sand and grindstones, right? Yeah. And the other thing we want to build is downpour bastions. Are those like artifice or something? Yes. Also a shitload of sand. Now these you actually do need a lot of. Holy cow, you need so much. Doing the research that involves downpour bastions seems insane. I did not anticipate, when I was saying, oh, I'll do like a research every couple seconds, that, like... I guess you only need it for Inundate, which isn't really urgent. Okay. Oh, and these two? The downpour bastion upgrades. Actually, like, I guess it's worth noting that this is... I haven't really worked with downpour bastions. I played before, and I started on life, obviously. And there was no entropy there, because it was my first plane. And then I moved to Earth, where you don't have access to water, and you do have access to fire for incineration spires. And those just take power to deal with entropy. I really am not, like... And downpour bastions take power, but also elemental water to operate. They require, like, elemental water as their ammunition. Right? It's just a constant thing they're draining to deal with entropy. And I've never really had to mess with that, where I'm not building anything, but I need a constant stream of inputs anyway. Even in Factorio, like, I just play with biters off. I don't have to worry about routing ammunition. Not that I've played Factorio in some time, but when I did, I didn't like biters. And so I just played without them. I don't mind biters. I didn't like the combat. Anyway, doesn't matter. I probably did mine biters too. So, like, it seems to me then that anywhere I would want to protect with downpour bastions, I would need to have elemental water around. So, like, I need to plumb the whole factory with access to fresh running water. And it's the only element that you really have to do that with, right? I think. Like, salt and ether you need in a lot of places, but you kind of allocate specific, like, okay, I'm going to harvest this patch and grind it up into ether, and I'm going to use that for this purpose, in this case, making elemental water. Well, I mean, okay, you know, one thing I can do at least. I have a downpour bastion right next to a bunch of water. Let's just start getting some free entropy. And indeed, it does harvest here, so that's nice. Cleans up pretty nicely. And it doesn't consume much water. You can see it's like... maybe it depends on how much entropy is nearby, I don't know. But it's like 1 water every 10 seconds or something. So it's saying there's no entropy to cleanse, but this is still ticking down. I think... it's kind of like nuclear reactors in Factorio. Yeah, see, when there was nothing to do for a while, it didn't burn anything. But then once it starts burning some water, it commits to using up the entire elemental water. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, we can make a few more of these by hand to get more entropy farming going. I don't exactly have access to plentiful elemental water over here, but this is another place where it would be nice to keep the entropy at bay, wouldn't it? And I do have some elemental water. Wait, why is this part running backwards? Oh, it's not. I'm stupid. Okay. This is... The ether is actually going that way. I put the bypass in going the wrong direction. There we go. Oh, I forgot this one. Okay, whatever. There's 2 separate sources feeding this. What a weird setup. Anyway, this should be fine. Like, is it super important to have the entropy out here cleared? No. Why are you saying reservoir? Oh, that's just like... I don't know what that means. Does that mean your inventory is this? Why is... I don't... So for example, like this downpour bastion clears some of this area out. Enough, I think, that we could station another one out here to clear out, to have a very wide area. Like, ideally, I think, I want... this is going the other way again. Oh, and this isn't actually hooked up. I put the bloom in here thinking, okay, whatever. It's getting powered by up there. Okay. Ideally, I think, you want each downpour bastion to be right smack dab in the middle of a big pile of entropy so that it never wastes. It wastes as little water as possible clearing stuff. Because ultimately, I'm trading raw materials, water, for science, the entropy that I collect here for the entropy tree science. Oh, Daycaller, how funny. Or night affects this as well. Okay. And so this is actually a situation where, like, maybe if I shut this one off, maybe this one could keep itself totally clear. I don't know how, like, aggressively entropy gradually re-adds itself. Does it do so quickly enough that I don't know. But it's nice that this guy is kind of so if I let the power run out and I deleted this guy, even if this one in principle could keep his area totally clear, overnight the fog would creep in and it wouldn't be able to power on in the morning and it would be lost to darkness. With this one here, we're clearing the area that this one watches over. So even if I let this one go unpowered for too long, it still won't get surrounded and covered by entropy. Let's plonk another one down here, maybe? I would feel a little better if I could have this whole area totally covered. Because this is making valuable tools. Oh man, gotta make so much sand. Also, routing power up here seems complicated. I mean, it looks like the entropy doesn't actually want to get to us. We built right at the edge of it. Well, okay. A candle in the darkness, at least. We're now doing something to get entropy passively. Like, I mean, I could put a bastion in here, but routing water to it's like not really covering anything important, and routing water to it is a little more difficult. So I don't think I will. Oh man, look at this sand production. It is horrible. We, as predicted, don't have nearly enough ether. Okay, great. This is an excuse to go actually build this part out. Oh, oh, I was like, wait, what were those colored things coming out of it? That was the bit telling me which way the closest portal. Life portal and air portal were both to the northwest, I guess. I thought it was something that it had done before that I hadn't noticed, but no, it's a new thing on account of having a new technology. Okay, so how many verdant collectors do I have? Not that many, right? I think I was carrying some around before. Okay, so I have like 20. So we should be able to build a good moat patch design, right? I had one from before. Well, I designed one for simple collectors here. Oh, you know what? Let's take this and delete it. I'm never going to need a mining colony ever again. Maybe it would be nice to save for my next playthrough, I guess. So, I mean, I designed this. It's not very good. This one I had made for when I briefly revisited the game in, like, November or something. Or somewhere. I feel like it was earlier than that. I don't know. Whenever the Entropy update was. But it doesn't look all that good, does it? It's hard to see it overlaid on a mode patch, so I don't know. Let me bring it. Nah. It's fairly visible here. There's a lot of missing spaces, and like a lot of space that isn't too well covered. I feel like we can do better. Hopefully using like the kind of trick of undergrounds to get the stuff out. And a bloom in the middle to power it all, or most of it. I think a bloom in the middle covers pretty much everything. So this one's covering very few modes, but I mean, like, this is a very symmetric approach, right? That even if, well, so the thing is though, it doesn't tile well because, well, it does, but not centered around, like, hexagons pack quite nicely, right? But I'm not quite in the situation where I just want to pack them in any old direction. And I don't have access to this southeast wall of this hexagon, because I have a bloom here. So, like... I mean, I can do this, but most of these are, like, barely doing anything, right? Maybe it's fine, because eventually I'll get radiant collectors... and these inner ones will be able to reach more of the center, and it'll be okay. This will be doing something productive. Ran out. I guess I could have been doing this with blueprints, huh? Copy the 6, paste it several times. Let's do that. Just this? Like going that way? Like so. And as we, you know, an important design constraint is that this bloom can actually get power. And this bloom here does actually channel it all the way in. Now, actually though, not all these collectors are powered by this bloom. The ones on the edges are just too far away. So I think if we put like another one here, we pretty much cover it. I think this one's not getting service, weirdly. it's because you're a bit offset, huh? You're a bit low? If I put you higher, that doesn't help. Maybe if I put you higher? I think we're still not getting this guy. Well, now this idea of using blooms to power, one bloom to power the whole thing has sort of fallen apart, hasn't it? And in terms of powering stuff, I could afford to move this up a tick. I don't think anyone would, like, die. Anyone would become unpowered. The problem is it sort of blocks off... Oh no, you become unpowered, I see. Yeah, that doesn't fit. I mean... That doesn't have to be the end of the world. I can just put another bloom over here, I guess. But that still doesn't get you. That's why this is no good. I would end up needing one in, like, every corner. Maybe one here is enough? No, because now you're not handled, you know? I could run a ring of roots around the edge and just like one bloom in the middle to cover all the inside guys. But that's not cheap either. I guess it uses up less space, which is sort of important. Maybe? I don't know. These blooms are kind of covering up space I wasn't effectively using anyway. The ones on the edges. So if I did put one here, would we finally be getting everybody, or is someone at the bottom still unhappy? We would be getting everybody. So this is a kind of asymmetrical disaster. But it does work. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to declare this good enough. It uses more blooms than you, like, strictly need. Oh, is this powered? Who's powering it? Oh, the mana flare. Of course. It's only powering the stuff in the middle, though. I guess I can make this a little tidier, tuck it in as close as possible. Oh, you can sideload into those? I guess I didn't realize that. Makes sense. Now, I've already left myself the problem of how does the power get out. I guess you can just do this. So y'all should start really cooking now, please. Yeah? Okay, so let's blueprint this. Okay. And this is all making it into ether production. So you can see that starting around here, we're getting a lot more ether than we were. I think that was when the mana flare turned on. And a bit deeper back in the stream, we should start getting even more. Well, I guess this is it. What's your problem? Oh, this is still using the broken blueprint. It's only doing half as much as it should. Plus some of them have gone dry already. Okay. This is a respectable amount of ether. It's not an entire streamway, but it's a sizable chunk of it. We are not, I think, actually producing this much long term. This is the result of some buffers getting cleared out or something. Well, no, that shouldn't be. I think we are making this much. I don't quite know why. We should be making 10 out of 16, as I understand it, because we have 20 grindstones. So I guess this is 10 out of 16 fullness, but it looks more full than that to me. So has our sand production increased accordingly? It has. Look at that stuff go. Okay. So we can now look at, well, a number of things. First of all, how is that research we were already working on going? It's not? It is. Okay, good. We're not making all that much in the way of tidal collectors, which is understandable. They're very expensive. And I said we're not really in a rush to make a lot of them either. We don't need them for very many research nodes. What we do need, and we don't need very many downpour bastions either. We don't need any we need a small number of brineries and a few downpour bastions up here. I mean, so there's things I want them for. But I should automate brineries next, I think. Or anyway, that's what I want to do, so I will. Brineries, here they are. Grindstones and sand. That's right. I looked at that and I decided, oh yeah, I don't want to do this. This sucks. It's so much sand. Who can make all that? You would just have an entire beach. Oh, I love that these guys are just housing all this stuff. So they should be working exactly full tilt, right? Yes. their inputs are remaining at a consistent level, and their output is being removed immediately. So these guys are living their best lives right now. If we ever start, like, it may be that we're kind of still just clearing out some buffers from when the factory was idle, and we don't actually have this much elemental water per second, although kind of looks like we might. No. See, this is... There's some buffering here. This one is almost done emptying its buffer. And now the one under it is going to start emptying its buffer. And eventually there will be less work. Like, well, but I mean, these guys aren't even running, so I don't know. It'll be a while before the sand production slows down, if nothing else. I guess I need Daycaller bound to a key, not the other stuff I had. Okay. Not using Riptide as much as I was before. So what's going on here? Sand production ran dry, I guess because of nighttime? Not for some other reason? Okay. Man, this is... Maybe I need more sand. Like, the thing is, sand is just so expensive that I feel like if I build more machines to produce sand, I'm just going to run dry on their ingredients, right? But I guess in terms of elemental water, it's not that much. And in terms of ether, I just set up a new factory making more ether. And by the way, that life factory... Oh, speaking of life, while I dilly-dally here, let's go pick up the ingredients for some more life collectors. That life factory is producing way more motes than the ether factory near it can actually grind it into. So just adding more grindstones would accomplish a lot there. Oh, I actually have plenty of roots, okay. I ran out of blooms. I wanted verdant collectors, but I don't think I ever, like, automated those. Oh, you need a downpour bastion. I mean, I guess you don't need one. Also, there's no water here. Forget it. The issue is this guy is making leaves, which I just don't... Mana leaves, which I just don't need anymore. Okay, so it's just... like, leaves is what I need, right? Like, there you go. I can make a million more verdant collectors. Yeah, give me all the leaves. I'm just going to make these by hand. Someday it would be nice to automate this, but... Hey, new Entropy research for free! Oh, I can't just click this. Normally when you get a technology, you can just click here and then click here again and it claims it. But of course with Entropy research, it's up to you what technology you spend the research on. The research is sort of fungible. Whereas on the main research tree, the alters determine what research you get. So here I actually have to pick. Obviously I wanted to play in a reliquary. I think at some point I'm going to be taking planar bridges for life and water. I don't think it really matters what order I do these in. Like, I'm going to want these two planar reliquaries before I want either planar bridge. So I'll just take this one. So now we have a new thing up here. A planar reliquary. Which I can use immediately. I guess. Oh wow, I'm almost out of undergrounds. Well, I know an area where they're being automatically made that I'm just now walking away from. So let's walk towards it instead. Give me that. A little light on grippers, too. Give me those. No, those are simple grippers! Put those back. I don't want no stinking simple grippers. Give me those. And I'll pick up a delivery of deltas as well. So, I guess going southeast around this is actually the fast way. Well, no, there's streamways to surf up here. Although it's hard. So, I can place my first planar reliquary. One thing that annoys me, or, well, I don't even know if it's still true. I think it is. What that annoyed me when I checked in off-camera for the Entropy update was that these planar reliquaries... So the idea is you do this. And now you have up here streamways. Great. Anytime I want, I can reach up there and grab streamways. The thing is, I don't want to do that. I don't want to press E, click here, click this, right? What I want to do is just press 1 and, like, have my hotbar tied to the planar reliquary. And I've heard some objections to this point of view, which is like, well, wouldn't you rather take from your inventory first rather than the... Like, so your inventory becomes less cluttered? If your inventory is holding a bunch of streamways, don't you want to use those, not the ones in the planar reliquary? Sure. Fine. But in that case, I don't want any streamways in my inventory at all, ever. I just want the ones in the planar reliquary, right? So, like, you can do this. I don't know, but the result is, now they're in my inventory. They're not up here anymore. So I guess what you're supposed to do is, like, press E, control-click on this to pick up 50, and then press 1 to place. I just wish my inventory didn't have to get involved in this at all. I wish I could just slurp stuff up from the planar reliquary, you know? So this way it'll refill a bit faster. If I pick up 50... Yeah, that fills pretty fast. Now, of course, the Streamweaver doesn't even output stuff this fast. But this way, if we've built up a buffer of things in the Streamweaver and this Streamway, they'll get emptied into the reliquary reasonably quickly. Great. Oh, we're almost done with Tributary. This research is going slowly. Oh, where am I even going? Nowhere, I guess? This life here, I said I wanted to use eventually for actual elemental life for hybrid research. So I should stick to that. But that little mining area we just set up, there were 1 or 2 more things to place. Oh, right. They got placed while I was away because there was a mana flare here. And my inventory contained verdant collectors, even though I was very far away. Great, 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 great. Okay, so how much life is this making? I believe it's making 16 per second, because we have 6 chunks of 4 collectors, is 24. And each of these harvests 1 every 2 seconds. 2 every 4 seconds, same deal. So this is 12 life per second. That's more than this little harvesting job or grinding job can cope with. Need more grindstones, man. Well, good news. Those are made of ether and salt. Oh, right. I tried to pick up from these inventories, but actually, these are working. There is no buffer here. They're just going into sand. These, for some reason, are not... Like, this side of the belt is more... I guess all my grippers must be taking from the sort of east side of the belt. No, I don't understand. I see. When this intersection gets over full, the outside of the belt gets preference over the inside for side loading, I guess. Maybe. Interesting. But, like, the amount of stuff I'm putting on this belt... Oh! Oh! This research, in a minute, I can turn this into a tributary. Like this! And have them merge in a balanced way and not just rely on side loading. Oh, that's going to be so exciting. Because I was thinking, all right, I can extend this array, you know, maybe more than double it, right? Because this can handle 12 life per second, or can produce 12 life per second. So I'm only handling 5 right now. I could double it. Well, make it 12. But then, like, when I do this side loading here, it wouldn't be balanced. It would be more than can fit on one side of a streamway. But tributaries are going to just solve that whole problem for me. I won't have to figure out how to make sure it comes out in an appropriately lane balanced way. So maybe what I'll do is just here, where we're currently forking off, or turning, I'll change it and say, actually, we're not turning, we're forking. What do I need more? What do I need for grindstones? Ether? Great. Okay, I just made 30 of them. That ought to be enough, right? Because I think we're processing 5 per second, so I need 7 more per second, basically. Which is just 14 more, so, okay, I made too many grindstones. Give me a break. If I take this grindstone array... Okay, I'm gonna have to clear more space. I think it would be nice to have a full stream, 16 per second, or maybe 24 when I get the air hybrid tech, of ether would be nice. Even if you don't need that much water, you need ether for everything. And I'm mining a lot of it right here, right? So, what are you? Oh, hello? Oh, this is my new... I thought I named you something. Well, you're the old one. I just want you to be gone. This one, which I've called L, I want to be life patch, I guess. Okay. But then I want to place more grindstones. Here? It's a little bit of an awkward jog, but that's okay, I guess. Get it all powered up. This is only 5 more. I said I wanted 10, didn't I? Or, well, 7. Okay, give me tributary. Yay! Alright. So, you know what? This is fine. I have 10 per second from here. 5 per second from here is 15. You can fit 16 on a streamway. Okay, well, when you put it like that, I really ought to just finish it, huh? There you go. That was what it would take. I guess it should look like that. Okay, let's build the most exciting tributary of all time. No, that's not what I want. I want... Boy, it is hard to tell the difference, huh? I want this, though. I want it a bit lower. Okay. Hey, there's no research happening. Was tributary the last thing I could do with the stuff I had? I guess it must have been. Oh, no, it's just dark. Okay, but also, there's nothing else I can do. I need mana pools for this. And for this. So I guess if I want to do more research, I need either mana pools or keystones, basically. I want brinaries for, like, production reasons. But, okay, what does it take to make a mana pool? Water and pedestals. Pedestals are salt prisms and salt. In a grindstone? Yes. Don't I already have salt prisms and salt right here? No, that's ether. I should have it here, though. Yeah. I mean, legitimately impossible to... well... If I could just squeeze in a tiny little... Oh my god, this is backward. There we go. Salt prisms, salt, elemental water. Look at that. So... I need like 1 grindstone. Kind of difficult to do this without messing something up, isn't it? Okay, let's say that. Here. And then I assume it's a stream weaver, which I have on my belt now. My bar, or whatever. combine that like so. With elemental water. Right? It's gonna load up on elemental water, but like, okay, how fast does this build? Oh, it's not Streamweavers. I need the Waverite, the big one. Indeed. Come on, I'm not here to make friends. Give me my big one, the thing. Waverite. Oh, it is big, all right. It wants to be like this, right? Yeah. And, I mean, it's not going to make them super fast, but it'll make them. The gripper can't keep up, but to be fair, the grindstone can't keep up either. So, mana pool-based research, I guess, is going to take a while, huh? This stuff I don't really care about that much, really. This I would like. So, I mean... Once again, my research setup is a curse. I just don't think things through, and because I don't really have the mental framework for knowing what I should even think through, really. Like, I mean, I can do this. Have mana pools come out here. I remember when I played previously that I was much more excited about mana pools because it was a way to... It was the second half of the problem of, like, automating power forever, right? It was like, you know, get canopies so you can produce unlimited amounts of power, get primordial mana wells so you can store unlimited amounts of power, never have to worry about it again. Now I'm just like, you know, it's not a big problem to use Daycaller. I don't need to spend a bunch of research making a million mana wells. I'll want them someday when I'm setting up in a new plane or something. And, you know, before I leave, it would be nice if I didn't have to constantly use Daycaller, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, just a shift in priorities. So, I don't know. I can at least have one altar working on it. Even if we're not producing enough to do much research, we can get some going. Oh, it's all choked by this one stupid little grindstone. It has plenty of ingredients. It's worse than that. It's the gripper feeding the grindstone. And I can't really improve it with all the stuff I've done here. Can I? What was this even coming down here for? Who knows? Oh, well, right. No. The problem is I put it so close to this that there's not space for this thing to turn. So I really just have this tile to work with. And you can do something like this, but then you're going to end up putting salt in here. Or prisms in here, which I don't want. I want to make sure this thing only makes streamways. Although, maybe you can do this? Because this thing's not going to accept streamways. I think you can do that. Yeah, this doesn't want streamways, so these grippers won't pick it up. Now every 2 seconds we want 3 items. So the grippers are actually keeping up now, at least. I think. No, they're... well, I guess they are, because they stopped. They took a break. Doesn't seem like they should be, because I'm only using 1 arm of each, right? But that's 2 items. Each of them is 1 arm, 1 item per second per arm. And I have two grippers, each using 1 arm. So I should be getting 2 items per second. And this only needs 3 items every 2 seconds. Yes, so that works. So this grindstone is saturated, at least. It would be better if I had more grindstones going into the problem, but at least the one I do have is working. This is the most embarrassing research you've ever seen. Okay, so what about... God, I really should scale this up somehow. I just built it here because, like, hey, I happen to have the ingredients available. But if I want to make, like, let's say 1 mana pool per second. I don't think I want that. That's unreasonable. I'm not going to use that many of them. Oh, I can look at the recipe. No, I can't look at the recipe for mana wells because they're not made at the Waveright. They're a hybrid tech. But, like... if I could make... if I had a few grindstones going making pedestals, which doesn't seem like it should be that hard, I could feed them in here, and at least then this would be less of a bottleneck. Right, pedestals, salt prisms, and salt. I mean, there's salt right here, there's salt prisms right here, there's empty space right here, right? I mean, does nobody else think this is crazy? Okay. Ta-da. Well, you see, officer... I can't get the pedestals in here. This is... it's, that work? doesn't ruin anything. There you go. See? No problem. And if I make space for pedestals to get in, like, I don't know. Give them space for a good run-up. Here? I could at least... operate a couple more of these, right? This guy's gonna be a big baby for some reason. Okay. So just a handful of grindstones. It's actually kind of a lot. Because it takes 2 of these to make 1 per second. And if we're imagining that I want to get somewhere close to 1 mana pool per second, I would need 6 pedestals per second, which would be 12 grindstones. I don't want that. So, like, let's say 6 grindstones, right? That seems reasonable. Actually, can I... not really. Not while keeping stuff balanced. Well, I mean, I guess since I have the space... Oh, I don't. Okay, great. That's where to stop. 8 grindstones. What's wrong here? Something's wrong. See, this is the output side. We should be doing this. Input side is doing this, and they're all powered. So I just need this. Yeah, very funny. Is this right? Is this the right recipe? It is. Pedestals. Completely ridiculous shape of streamway here, but it's fine. And now I imagine maybe the elemental water one is having trouble keeping up. A little bit. But soon the backlog of pedestals, I imagine, will dry up. We can't actually keep up this pace of stuff. But it's speeding this up some. It's now, like... Well, okay, but now I could... This grindstone is no longer necessary at all, including all this mess that I did. Right? I guess it was going there on purpose. Which means I can at least give it access to twice as much water. So now we're moving 2 water per second, which is enough to make a third of a mana well per second. Sure. I guess this is progress of a sort. You can at least now tell by looking at the streamway what it's producing, as opposed to having to wait for something to swim by. Now, this research is just going to take a while, and that's life. The issue is this research could go by a bit faster, but there's currently only 1 pedestal, and it has the materials for both. So, like, I guess what would be nice is if this one didn't have the title collectors, but did have the mana pools, right? Then it could work on those. I have to reconnect this up, but I'm confused at the moment. So, like... do this, right? And then we just have to get power there, which... I guess looks like... No, you can't do that? Like that? That doesn't work. How about that? Now we're working on both researches. Okay. That's something. Hey! More entropy research. Give me another planar reliquary, please. This one. What's the next thing I want to never run out of? I mean, in some sense it's undergrounds. In another it's like grindstones. You know, there's a lot of stuff you need all the time. I could take whirling grippers, but I've never had a problem running out of those. I go back to the old base often enough, and I place few enough grippers, it seems like. Like, air grippers, you really don't need nearly as many of them as you do the simple grippers and earth grippers, because they can actually do double duty. So I just haven't found myself running out of those as often as I'm used to with the other kinds of grippers. Okay. It kind of looks like... Yes. The water input is actually sufficient that we're running short of pedestals instead. And we have actually an equal amount... Actually, this one never does anything. So if this gripper were deleted, like so, we have an equal number of grippers taking in water and pedestals, but the water is backing up. So what that means is we don't have enough pedestals to satisfy this, which is fine. I said I don't want to go crazy on it, but it's nice to know that, like, the inability to fit more grippers in here wasn't the problem. How are my inputs looking? Salt is in high demand. That makes sense. Well, let's get brinaries going, I guess, finally. Salt and grindstones. And grindstones are just like salt prisms and ether, or salt prisms and salt or something. Ether, I think. Yeah. And there's sand right here. Now, I'm making a bunch of salt prisms here. I kind of don't want to try to fork out even more of this garbage, although I already have some just lying here. Eventually, we're going to have the problem that, like, this array of grindstones can't keep up with the salt prism consumption of this whole area. But at the moment, we don't seem to have that problem. So, like, what I could do would be fork off salt and ether again, make prisms, and then combine those with more ether. I have salt and ether both right here. But, again, like, brinaries, they don't seem like something you need a million of, do they? I guess they do. Oh, do you know something I forgot? How fast do brinaries work? I think it's 1 per second. But let me just see. So I don't have any motes actually. I don't keep them on me. So if I place these, no power, very funny. What? 1 alligator, 2 alligators. So it's about 2 alligators. So, okay. Every 2 seconds they make 6. So one of these makes 3 per second. It produces as much salt as 6 grindstones. Sorry, yes, salt. So, I mean, and it consumes 1.5 salt per second. So if I wanted to saturate a line with, like, a full streamway with salt using brinaries, it would be like 6 of them, right? That strikes me as the kind of thing where you don't need a million brinaries. Just enough to fill your planar reliquary, and then you can dump 6 of them and you have a whole streamway of salt whenever you want, right? I mean, I guess I'm not putting it in the planar reliquary probably, but okay. So, brinaries. I guess what I'm saying is what exactly? It does take a lot of grindstones. Oh, I don't want to make grindstones. I want to place grindstones. So how many brinaries, realistically, do I need to make per second? 0. You just don't need that many brinaries in the whole game. You know, it's 1/100th of a brinary per second or something would be plenty, I guess is what I'm getting at. So I think I could just have 1 grindstone making grindstones for the brinary. What does it take to make a grindstone? Salt and ether. Okay. Or salt prisms and ether, I should say. I should not try to route these prisms over. That's just insane. Deltas always take up more space than I think they're going to. Oh man, this one points down here too. Guess I can do that. So I think it would be most appropriate to build the prisms here, which is what I'm doing. That's why I'm routing this up. And then further process those ground up prisms into the input to a binary. So binaries, I assume, are made in the big one. Yeah. They're so slow to build. You're not supposed to handcraft a lot of these, but I mean, I'm not going to automate them. Are you insane? You need like 20 of them in a game. Something like this, I guess. Well, back up a little. Nope, you're backwards. There you go. I need a bloom in here anyway, I guess, to power the grippers down here. Yeah, so this is all lovely. It produces very slowly, but that was the bar I set, right? Is one of these every 100 seconds ought to be enough. And we're making more than that, so fine. It would be nice if I could build like a chest of these. I don't think a really large water chest is appropriate. Maybe a small one. Because you do want to pick up like... Actually, I don't even know what the stack size is for binaries. In the bottom right, I think it says 20. Is that what that means? Like most production buildings are 20. Like streamways are 50. Yes, that's what this is saying. Okay. So like 20 of these, sure. I mean that's enough for 3 full streamways full of salt. Seems insane. You could never need more than that. Okay, I don't need a chest. You could argue that, you know, maybe I should do more than just these 2 grindstones, but I will argue against you. Look at this. 3 binaries is already crazy. Okay, so that's binaries done. I have mana pools slowly, but, you know, they're happening. We're doing the mana pool research. Okay. Cool. Used a lot less of this horizontal space than I planned to. I thought I would have to stick out into here, but no. That's me. Always gotta cram everything in. It's like, in some sense, it's the path of least resistance for the shortest moments, and then lots of resistance after that. But on the other hand, it is also kind of like, you know, don't you want some spaghetti? Isn't that the fun? If everything were just easy, what would be the point? MoteMancer is giving me these layout puzzles and saying, oh, figure out how to connect, you know... What's an example where I had like this, right? How do you get two Streamweavers, each with two input grippers, to be touching each other so that you can power them with one bloom? And also have, like, them share a single output gripper. That was a puzzle MoteMancer gave to me that was fun to figure out. And the insistence to cram things in is a puzzle I give to myself that can also be fun to figure out. Oh, man. Okay. So I still have another planar reliquary that I haven't put down, right? Yeah. I mean, grippers are the most obvious choice. But, like, what about roots? What about roots? You place a lot of roots at a time sometimes, you know? Yeah, I think I like that idea. Roots are over here. And the one thing I said I wanted so much of that I had to make a water chest of it. Yeah, I guess I never did put a reliquary here. Okay. So, for example... So now we still have this big chest. Although it's kind of stupid because... Okay, actually this was the wrong way to do it. What I kind of want is for the chest to actually get used. I guess that was working. But like... I should put it in the middle, right? Here? I don't have any power. I'm gonna have so many dang roots in my pockets. Be like a kid who lives next door to a forest. Okay. So these, okay, that's fine. I just have to adjust the shape of the chest. Quote, chest, so that all these tiles are actually being used. Actually, no. Yeah, now all these grippers have all their input tile, or all their 3 tiles used, so if I ever run out of roots, this chest will empty itself into my inventory at 8 per second. That seems pretty good. I don't think I'll ever run out of roots again. Especially given that I'm holding 618 of them. Oh no. Well, not my inventory, but my planar reliquary, which is sort of analogous. Once my inventory runs dry, I can grab a stack from the planar reliquary, and it will pretty much fill itself back up instantly, I guess is the way it's supposed to work. Okay. What on earth is this all about? This is not being used for anything. Okay. And, I mean, mana blooms I do want as well, because I use them often enough, but I almost feel like mana blooms are just roots plus life. And there's a number of things I want that require life on occasion, right? Like a verdant collector or something. So like actually that requires leaves, not raw life. But I can build life out of leaves, right? Leaves out of life, excuse me. So I almost feel like having a reliquary just dump me elemental life so I can make whatever it is I need small quantities of. Whereas like roots and streamways, I need in large quantities. They deserve their whole slot. The other stuff I might need less often, and just being able to pluck some life out of the ether to make whatever I need a small amount of seems more reasonable. I have another bastion just sitting around in my pockets, don't I? Here. Enjoy. Oh, I put you in the... Didn't look like you were in, you big baby. Why are you saying you don't have power? I think you must be reusing this to mean... Oh, it's because it's nighttime. So now I think I could have actually put that a bit closer. Right here. Yes, this is on the edge of Entropy. Coming soon to theaters near you. So... Annoyingly, though, I think what I kind of need is for the... I need to cross this gap. Gosh, wouldn't it be nice to have reaching grippers right about now? But instead, what you have to do, unpower the whole factory just for this little vanity project, briefly. No, this is the wrong way to do it, I think. Well, wait a minute. What do I could just do this. Okay, great. This is a bypass operation. Okay. And that'll keep this clear, which is nice, I guess. Oh, look, there was a flower in the gloom. Nobody could see your pretty little face. I don't know quite like how fast this research requirement scales. I think it's just 1,000 more each time, right? Like how many nodes have I hit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I think the nth node requires n,000. So it's quadratic. Well, it scales linearly, so the total amount of entropy you need for over your whole game period scales quadratically with the number of nodes you want. But I mean, that's probably that doesn't seem like that big a constraint actually. Yeah, these water patches are starting to run dry around the edges, aren't they? How's the middle looking? There's still like 75% of the total motes are still here, right? It was like 113,000, I think, on these, and it's now 87. So we've used up a quarter of these, which is fine. Oh, you know what? You know what we can do that's going to be exciting? We can go pick up a pocket full of brinaries. I bet this is done. Oh yeah, 20 brinaries. Yum, yum, yum. Actually gave me 24 somehow. I must have made 4 before that or something? By hand? Or no, I picked up 4. When it had made some of them. I see. Okay. Well, one thing we could do is make our water motes stretch a little longer, right? Oh no, I'm gonna have to pick up all this salt. Wait, actually, there is no salt here. Because this actually is all being used. Great. Well, okay. Let's let this run itself dry before I tear it down. You know what? I should not touch the live environment. Let's go build a little binary array that's not connected to anything while this just runs. And I can't mess anything up. So we imagine that we have as input one entire streamway filled with motes of water. Right now, we can't easily produce that, but we could, in principle. Like, I have tidal collectors, right? I could go build a big blueprint for mote patches for water. But let's say we had that. First question, how many grippers does each binary need? Every 2 seconds, it needs 3 water. So it needs 1.5 grippers, which means every pair of binaries should have, each should have 1 independent gripper and 1 shared gripper. A lot like the Factorio situation where you're building green circuits out of wires. If you like do direct insertion, you end up having like this 2-to-3 ratio kind of thing. Something like that, I don't remember exactly. I don't even remember, how did you have grippers that were... No, you didn't end up having inserters that were shared, because you couldn't do that. But you had like 2 copper wire factories feeding into 3 circuit assemblers, right? And then you manage the inserters accordingly. But okay, so I think, first of all, can we just do it like this? Not really. Well, wait a minute. Yes? Isn't this exactly what I said I wanted? Almost. Yeah, this one, this binary is being fed by this twice and this once. So this one needs to be fed 2 more times, but that's easy. It's just this, and then this, right? So we can just daisy chain that. Now, that's very nice, but it ignores the question of power, right? And Am I doing this wrong? No, I don't think so. I am. This is what you would need for the output. Each binary takes in 3 items every 2 seconds, not every 1 second. So I don't need 1.5 grippers. I need 0.75 of a gripper for input. Okay, and then on the output, I need 1.5 grippers each. So a single gripper can feed the input to a binary, as long as both of its arms are working. Is that right? That doesn't... Every 2 seconds, I need 3 items. And a single gripper is 1 per second per arm, so it's 2 per second, which every 2 seconds could produce 4. Yes, we only need 1 gripper for salt input. Okay. How are we for time, by the way? I've just been lost in thought. It's almost 2 hours! I just started! Oh, I love this game. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. That'll give us something fun to start with tomorrow. I'll design binaries. More good progress today. Built lots of things. Enjoyed some spaghetti. Yum, yum. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.